That's the German Grand Prix in a nutshell. The German Grand Prix is finished. We are now entering history. Lewis Hamilton has 91 race wins. 91. And before he finishes his career, which he's not going to be yet anyway, the way he's going on, he could go on for another 10 years. Never mind 3 years. That some experts say. This guy can go on for another 10 years if he wanted to. Who's going to stop him? I've been saying this forever. Since I've been streaming nearly 4 years ago. And recording videos. As long as he's got the car, as long as he's got the team behind him, the mighty Mercedes, German and British engineering working together, the best in the world. As long as you've got that, behind you, that's it. He's going to continue to win and win. Who's going to stop him? Max Verstappen in a Red Bull? That ain't going to happen. Who's going to stop him? Roman Grosjean? That's definitely not going to happen. Nicholas Latifi? No. Valtteri Bottas? No. What was I saying yesterday? I said if Lewis Hamilton gets through that first corner, he's going to win. He didn't get through the first corner. Actually, he did get through the first corner. And fair play to Bottas. He come back and he got through and he become in front. But what does Bottas always do when he's in front? He chokes. That's exactly what Valtteri Bottas does, is choke. He would choke and continue to choke. Valtteri Bottas, world champion, not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If George Russell was in that car, he would run Lewis Hamilton a lot closer than Valtteri Bottas. You know, all right, people gonna blame the engine, but remember when his engine went, his power unit, whatever it is, his battery power unit, when the power unit went, Lewis Hamilton was already 2 places in front of him. Lewis Hamilton took Bottas over because Bottas thought, you know what? I'm going to go for this straight line speed. He locked up, crowned his tyres, and that was it for him. That was it. He was always going to struggle after that. Them rookie mistakes. Like Nico Rosberg says, when you got Hamilton down, you have to keep him down. You have to get in his head. And Bottas can't do that. He can come out and say, I've changed. He can have 4 lattes. He can be Bottas 5.0. Still not going to make no difference. He lost. He lost all them points today. And Lewis Hamilton is now 69 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas. It is done. To me, it was done at Silverstone. I don't care what anybody says. I said it on my videos. Go back to all my previous videos. Since Silverstone, I've been saying it was over. Even when Hamilton was 30 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas, even when he was 25 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas, I said it's over. Bottas hasn't got the nuts to beat Lewis Hamilton. He hasn't got the nuts over a period of time to beat Lewis Hamilton for a world championship. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I don't care what he says. I don't care if he's been taking new yoga classes with his missus. I don't care if he's doing 200 press-ups every morning, 200 press-ups every night. He drinks 10 lattes. He eats chocolate bars. He has energy drinks. Whatever he does, he's still not going to make no difference. He can run 200 miles a day. He's still not going to make the difference. He can cycle 10 miles a day. He's still not going to make a difference because it's all in there. All in the noggin. He hasn't got what it takes to be a world champion. That's it. See, you can look at Max Verstappen and you can think, yeah, world champion. Guaranteed world champion. Not yet, but it will happen. You look at George Russell, even though George Russell's in at Williams, you can look at him and say, world champion. You look at Charles Leclerc, look what Charles Leclerc is doing with that car. All right, he's getting all the resources from Ferrari. Vettel, not so much because he's on the way out. That's the way F1 goes. But look what he's doing with that car. Look what Charles Leclerc is doing with that car. You look at Daniel Ricciardo. If Daniel Ricciardo was in a Mercedes, you could say, you know what, he could win a world title. But you look at Valtteri Bottas, and he still can't do it. He still can't do it. And I called it in March. No, not in March. I called it when it was at Silverstone. I said he ain't going to win no title. He ain't going to win it. I don't care what he says. I don't care if he's a new man. I don't care if he says people don't know what's up there. Nobody gives a shit what's in your head, Bottas. Seriously. Nobody gives a shit. All people care about is what you do in the car and go out there. You know what? You got all these guys on Twitter. Oh yeah, Bottas has got a chance. Bottas hasn't got no chance. And today confirmed that. Mick Schumacher in this car could do better than Valtteri Bottas, in my opinion. And that's just the way it is. Bottas is a choker. Always has, always will be. He's a choker. He ain't going to beat Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is going to win the title next year as well. We don't even know how the new regulations are going to come in 2021. No, in 2022. Lewis Hamilton could stick around, which he's going to do. His contract's more or less, his new contract is more or less sealed. Ted let it slip today at the Ted Notebook. Brilliant show, Ted Notebook, comes on Sky after F1. If you're an F1 fan, you know. If you watch it on Sky, you know what Ted's Notebook is. Ted is the most charismatic guy on the Formula 1 F1 Sky Sports team. He's got personality, he's charismatic. I love Ted, and he's funny. To me, Ted should have his own podcast. But Ted said today, he come out and he said, look, he's special. He said, Hamilton's got it. He goes, Bottas had his chance, choked. He had his chance and he choked, and he choked. And that's just the way it is. People can say, oh yeah, there's still a chance. No, there isn't a chance. It is over. And then when next year comes, he's going to win it again. He's going to come back as Bottas 5.0. Or 6.0, or 10.0, whatever zero it has. He's going to come back. Have you noticed you don't see him drink his coffee now? Because people were taking the mick out of him. Because he used to have his coffee and people used to make videos. And obviously he used to watch him. And now all of a sudden now he's not drinking his coffee. He's drinking his coffee behind closed doors. He's necking his coffee, then he's coming out and he's racing. Have you noticed you don't see him drinking the coffee? So it doesn't matter if he's having 2 lattes, 4 lattes, double shots. Still not going to make a difference. He's still not going to beat Lewis Hamilton. Listen to me. He's not going to be... All right, he's going to win the occasional race. He's going to win the occasional pole. But when it comes to beating Hamilton over a period of time, over a season, it's not going to happen. Everybody knows now Hamilton's won it. It's confirmed. 69 points ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Bottas better watch his ass that Max Verstappen doesn't take him over. Because Max Verstappen is closing in on Bottas. That might knock Bottas' confidence now. We'll see in 2 weeks' time in the next race. When they go to Portugal or Turkey, new circuit. I think it's Portugal. We'll see when we go to Portugal in a couple of weeks. We'll see if Bottas' body language is dropped. You'll know Suji's team. Bottas is one of those guys. When his body language goes, it just goes completely down. And you can just see by looking at him, you can see the way he leaves his body language wide open. It's very easy to read Valtteri Bottas. And that's what I think. I think Lewis Hamilton he's won the championship now. And that's it. Now, what really, 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 really sunk in for me? What really, I'm going to get into the race. I'm going to skip over the race. I'm going to start the race in a minute. But what really stuck out for me, let me have a drink. Nice coffee. What stuck out for me is when, at the end, when Lewis Hamilton was getting his winner's trophy. It was a bit like that. It was like a couple of years ago when it was in Mexico. When Hamilton equaled Ayrton Senna's pole record. His pole record. And he came out. And I don't know if it was Ayrton Senna's family, one of them, come out and said, I want to give you this helmet. It was Ayrton Senna's helmet. From the Ayrton Senna family, and they said the records or whatever records there to be broken, and we're happy that you got the record for the pole position. And they gave the helmet to Hamilton, and Hamilton was like a kid at Christmas. It's like you got the helmet, you thought, wow, amazing. I've got Ayrton Senna's helmet. It was like a kid at Christmas. When you open your Christmas comes when you're a kid, when you're 6, 7, 8 years of age, you open your present at Christmas Day. You really want to open the present on Christmas Eve, but you open it at Christmas Day. You open it and then you see it and you see your present. That's what Hamilton was like. He was like a 4-year-old kid again, getting a present at Christmas when he got Ayrton Senna's helmet. And this was a little bit like that. I've got a bit of video footage here from my Twitter feed. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it on here. Let's see if I can bring it up for you. This really stood out for me. So we've got this there.
Schumacher, Michael's son, is going to present you with one of Michael's helmets.
Congratulations, and this is from behalf of all of us. Yeah, great achievement, really.
I'm honored, man.
This is the race home from 2012.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, that is a beautiful moment, and that's one of our...
And that was a beautiful moment. That was a beautiful moment. That stood out for me. I just thought, you know what? That was class. And you saw at the bottom, I've got the picture here. You saw at the bottom, you got Schumacher's 91, and you got Hamilton equaling Schumacher's 91 race wins. That was a big moment for me. That stood out for me for the whole of the weekend. That stood out for me. I didn't even know that he was going to get that helmet. I thought maybe he was going to get something like when he breaks the record, but he equaled the record, and he had his son coming out, Mick Schumacher, which is definitely a star of the future. Not just because he's Michael Schumacher's son. He's a good driver. See, I weren't the biggest Michael Schumacher fan at all, but I like Mick Schumacher, and he came out. Everybody said he's a nice guy in the paddock. People say he's very nice to talk to, very outgoing. He's a bit similar, a bit different to his dad. I like how he just brought the helmet over, Michael Schumacher's 2012 Mercedes helmet, and it was fitting. It was perfect because Hamilton's a Mercedes driver, and Mick Schumacher come out and said, "Look, I've got the my dad's helmet in 2012 Mercedes, and I want to give it you, and what you've done is special." And it was total respect. That stood out for me the whole weekend. It was classy. And David Coulthard was doing an interview because I know David Coulthard. He's the biggest Hamilton fan. So he must have thought, I'm gonna do this interview. He must have said, look, no one's doing it but me. I'm doing it because David Coulthard has been around a long time. Should have won the title in 2009. Now should have won the title in 1999 with the McLaren. He's got a lot of stroke around there. He's been around a long time, and he's probably said, I'm gonna do this interview. Hamilton breaks his record, equals this record, I'm doing this interview, and he done it. Because Coulthard's like that. It was absolutely amazing. I had a lump in my throat when I saw that. I just thought, look, and what made me have a bigger lump in my throat is when Martin Brundle says, you know what, Michael should be here. And he should be here. We know the circumstances, well, we don't know his circumstances, but we know he can't make it, and it's a shame. And it would have been nice, because with Ayrton Senna's on, we know Ayrton Senna's dead. He died in 1994 at the San Marino Grand Prix in that tragic accident. Tragic or whatever, if people say it was an accident. It doesn't matter. But Ayrton Senna couldn't be there to give him his helmet when he broke the pole record. But Schumacher's alive, he's around, but he can't make it. For obviously the obvious reasons, he couldn't make it, and it would have been nice if Schumacher was there to pass him the helmet. It was like the passing of the torch. It was amazing. That really stood out for me, and it was so... that will last in my head for the rest of my life, just like the Ayrton Senna one would. And now he's 91 race wins. 91 race wins. Lewis Hamilton in counting. So he's just going to continue. Before he retires, he could be on 120 race wins. Maybe more. This year he could come out, he could win 2 weeks time, and 2 weeks time after that, and he'd be on 93 race wins. Before he retires, he could be on 130. How long can Lewis Hamilton go on? How much steam has he got? I'm sure he's going to continue. He's getting the best car. He's going to be in the best car in the next couple of years. So he can continue. Who's going to beat him? You know, like I said, you got Valtteri Bottas, but, you know, how long's Bottas going to be there for? I think when Hamilton wins his 8th world title, Bottas will be on his way. I think they'll get rid of Bottas. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it was fitting, and I really liked it. So we're going to get into the race day review. So the first day, lights out the way we go. Hamilton had a better start than Bottas. He pulled off in front of Bottas. And I thought, you know what? amazing. I thought if Hamilton gets the best start, he'll win the race. But soon as Hamilton passed Bottas, Hamilton forced Bottas wide. That's the first time I saw two Mercedes touch this season. They done wheel to wheel, forced him wide, and then Bottas showed a bit of balls, got his elbows out and come back and passed Hamilton. So Bottas lost position at the beginning, but after the first turn when the both went wide, I thought both Mercedes was going to be taken out, but they never. They both respected each other in that way. Bottas came back, went up the hill, he got more traction at that second turn, and then Hamilton passed Hamilton, and Hamilton just stayed in second. Lap 6 gravel from Kimi. Roman Grosjean says, I think I've broke my hand. This is on lap 6. So I was thinking, how have you broken your hand? And he come out and says, I broke my hand because the stone from Kimi's car hit his hand. And he said that he felt like his hands were broken. So I was thinking, if your hands are broken, there's no way you're going to hold the steering wheel. You saw his two hands on the steering wheel clenched on the steering wheel. I thought he ain't broke his hand. He's probably just clicked his knuckle, but he ain't broke his hand. So lap 7, but that's Roman Grosjean for you, innit? The joker of the pack. Lap 7, science engineer said light rain is coming. So we're going to have a wet race. We're going to have a wet race. It's going to be interesting. Maybe it's going to be interesting for Hamilton. Who's going to pick? Who's going to have the inters? I never saw the rain. The only bits of rain I saw was on the camera. I saw a little bits of rain on the camera, but there was no rain. Nothing what's gonna disturb the F1 cars. Albon pits on lap 8. I thought, you know what? Why is he pitting on lap 8? I thought, why is Albon pitting on lap 8? He scolded his tyres. He flat spotted his tyres. He was in a decent position. I think he was in 5th or 6th. And he flat spotted his tyres. And he had to go into the pits. And as soon as he went to the pits and lap out, I thought, that's it. He ain't going to get in the top 4. No way. Albon is going to be on his way next season. I said it. I've been saying it continuously. He might have a occasional good weekend. But if you look at his record over this season, it is absolutely dog shit. Albon does not deserve to beat that team. You had Nico Rosberg and you had Paul di Resta arguing about who do you think should be on there. Paul di Resta was beating around the bush. Nico Rosberg was winding him up and saying, come on, who do you think it's going to be? He thinks, both agreed that Gasly, they should give Gasly another chance. He's got his confidence back. He should be back in that team. Some people are saying, oh, maybe they're going to bring Perez in, but that Perez is not on the Red Bull program. Red Bull are not used to having people not on the Red Bull program. They might go outside the comfort zone. But the obvious choice is Pierre Gasly. Pierre Gasly finished in front of Albon. He's doing better than Albon. I'm sure he's got more points than Albon in the table we'll look after. So at the end of the day, it should be Pierre Gasly. He's the obvious choice. Now, if Christian Horner wants to be a stubborn prick, yeah, we can keep Albon there, but he ain't going to win you no points. He's not reliable. I think from the beginning, they should have never called it Albon. Albon was in Formula 1 for about 6 races, then all of a sudden, they swapped him over and put Albon in Red Bull. Never going to happen. It was never going to work. They should have left him in Toro. They should have left him in, at the time it was Toro Rosso, now it's AlphaTauri. They should have left him in there until the time, and for one season, a one full season, let him cut his teeth in Formula 1, and then maybe if Pierre Gasly never done nothing after one season, then bring him in. But I thought they brought in Albon too soon. Lap 11, Charles Pitt puts the medium tyres on. So basically, it looked like people was doing a 2-stopper. When a 1-stopper, it was a 2-stopper. He puts the medium tyres on, and straight after that, he saw Vettel on the track. He slipped in turn 1 and recovered. He didn't slip because there was a driver there. He just slipped. And he locked he's flat spotted his tyres. Again, Vettel slipping. Not used to these cars. He's used to the old school cars from the 2000 era when you had the Red Bull heavy at the back. They had a heavy wing at the back and it was more lighter at the front. Now we can't handle these new cars. They're too twitchy and that's why he keeps slipping. He's used to the old V10 cars. So, lap 12, Vettel pits because he flat spotted his tyres and Russell pits as well. Lap 13, Bottas locked in the third. This is when I thought, here we go, it's coming. The mistake is coming. I was sitting there, I was thinking, Bottas 5.0 or 6.0. The man who loves his coffee, the coffee rush man, Mr. Soft, whatever his name, whatever his nickname people call him on social media. Lap 13, Bottas locked in the first turn and flat spotted his tyres. What? See, this is what I'm talking. If that was Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc or Max Verstappen, and any of them was leading the race in that Mercedes and had that nice little comfortable, it wasn't a comfortable lead. It was about 1 second. Hamilton was gaining on him anyway. He went from like 2 seconds, went to 1.5 seconds. So he was gaining on him, gaining on Bottas anyway. He was nearly in the DRS zone. All of a sudden, Bottas locked up. First turn, flat spotted his tyres. That's it. And I knew as soon as he flat spotted his tyres, he was getting the vibration from the engine. As soon as he flat spotted his tyres, it was game over. Game over. Lap 13, that's what I said. Box. Lap 14, Bottas pits. Russell gets a puncher, and Kimi and Kimi pitted as well. So Russell gets a puncher because Kimi hit him. Because Kimi was going around the first turn, hit Russell. Russell got a puncher, and further on in the race, Kimi got a 5-second time penalty for that. It was all over. He got a 5-second time penalty, and Russell was out. And it was a shame for Russell because he was doing good as well. It was a shame for Russell. He seems like he's having a bit bad luck at the moment. But as I always see it, and I'll always live by this motto, cream always rises to the top. You cannot stop the inevitability. You cannot stop. When it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's inevitable that it will happen, that he will win a world title with Mercedes. So, virtual safety car come out. Max and Hamilton pits. Brought the safety car out. They both pitted under a safety car because of this puncher with Russell. And they brought out the safety car. Fiat loses his car back end. He starts spinning everywhere. He just passes the Daniel Fiat, right? And the back of his car started spinning out everywhere. Just as he passed the pit, so he had to do a full lap to get round the pit. I thought it was races over. He had Martin Brundle saying on the radio that his suspension's gone. I thought, no, he ain't got. His suspension ain't gone. It's just his tyres. He needs a new front wing and he needs to replace his tyres. His suspension never broke, so just as I thought, he came into the pits, he changed his nose, changed his tyres, and he was fine. He got on with the race. Lap 18, the power's gone on Bottas' car. So his race has gone from being in the front, locking his tyres, flat spotting his tyres, and now all of a sudden, lap 18, power gone. Maybe the power's gone in your fucking arse, mates. That's what it is. Maybe he was rumbling, and that's why your car broke down. Maybe you farted in your cockpit and your car broke down. That's probably what really happened, isn't it? Maybe you'll find out in a debrief later. So his power's gone. Daniel Fiat, he got his nose, like I said, lap 22. Albon flat spotted his tyres. Again, he flat spotted his tyres. Albon was all over the place today. He was damaging cars, damaged his own car, damaged his tyres twice, pitted twice. By lap 22, he'd pitted twice. It was all over. The guy like that can't be at Red Bull. He's a liability. That's what he's becoming now. He's a liability. Commentators are coming out and just saying raw now. There's going to be a spot at Red Bull next season, definitely. If there ain't, they're just going to fail. You can't have one good driver in the team. You have to have two good drivers that are close together finishing. That's what gives you the points. Imagine if Albon could finish behind Max all the time now. Imagine that. If Albon could finish similar to Max Verstappen, maybe they could get up there with a construction. But why you got to... he's the weak link of the team, Albon. It doesn't matter how much people you can't. People say on my Twitter, on my YouTube comments, you can't be like that with Albon. Yes, I can. Because at the end of the day, right, he's the weak link. And if he's there next season, I'll be very, very surprised. Very surprised. And I've been saying this since the beginning of the season, since 2 races in. So, Albon said that it's hard, it's so hard. Why does this race have to be so hard? The guy is in Formula 1. He's got millions of people watching him around the world. And he turns around on the radio and says, this is hard. What a blood. You're coming out and saying on the national television, this is hard. And you know what Martin Brundle says? Welcome to Formula 1. If it's too hot, get out the kitchen. And then when Christian Horner, when he heard that, I know they didn't show the footage of Christian Horner, when he said it. But I can imagine his face. Christian Horner seeing that, hearing that on the radio, saying one of his Red Bull drivers said, "Oh, why is it so hard?" Unbelievable. Lap 23, retirement for Ocon. Ocon was in a good position. He was 2 places in front of his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. He was on for a pole. Now he was on for a podium, possibly for a podium, but it didn't work out for him. His car went, engine went, and it was a shame. Ocon was doing so good. So 5-second time penalty for Albon on Fiat because he hit Fiat. He nudged his car. Reliability, Albon, complete reliability, and then he goes into the pits to service penalty, and he retires from the race. See you later. What a complete disaster Albon is. Charles passes Gasly on turn 1, very good turn. Charles Leclerc, he could have been driver of the day. I thought, look, I knew that Nico Hülkenberg would get it. I knew he would. I knew he would get it. He done well. He started at the back and he ended up getting 8th. So that is an achievement on his own. The guy had no preparation whatsoever. A couple of days ago, he was in his German bar drinking German beer, smoking a spliff, chilling with whoever he's chilling with, probably with his little dog that he's got that he always goes walking with in Monaco. He was chilling in Germany, probably at his parents' house. He said he was near his parents' house or one of his family members' house. And all of a sudden, he's driving an F1 car. 3 days later, he's driving on Sunday in an F1 race, and the guy comes 8th. Imagine that. That alone, just by entering the race, yeah, he should be driver of the day anyway. So when he got driver of the day, that was a given, standard. So lap 29, Perez pits with Sainz, medium tyres both. Lap 30, Norris. He's coming out in there. Look, Norris could have been on for a podium. He was in 3rd place, and all of a sudden he goes, "My power's gone. My power's gone." He kept saying to his engineer, "My power's gone." And I felt so good. Here we go. The bad luck continues with Norris. He's one of the guys, such a nice guy. You can see he's a nice guy. But at the end of the day, right, he got done, and it says power issues. His engineer said, continue. So we continued. So lap 30, yeah, he pits, put 2.4, puts a medium tyres, never give up. He carried on, he was still in the point, so he's got to continue. He can't retire. So lap 36, Hamilton's graining on his tyres, he starts coming on the radio and starting getting front graining, which he did. He did this time. Usually Hamilton says that my tyres are going, but when you see his tyres look fine, but this time they were graining. So lap 36, Leclerc puts a medium tyres on. Lap 43, Vettel pits 4.4 seconds, puts the soft tyres on. Because Vettel pitted it early, put the hard tyres on and let them last. But at the end of the day, come lap 36, his tyres were falling away. Norris was out at lap 44. That brought out a full safety car. I think the way it was, for me, where it was positioned at the Grand Prix, I think he should have been a virtual safety car, not a full safety car. But that's just the way it is. But look, safety's first for the drivers. Safety's first. So Norris was out of the race. He sat there, felt sorry for him, man. Felt sorry for him. He just sat there in a chair. He had his hands like that. He had his hands on his face. He looked like he was crying because he kept wiping his eyes. And I felt sorry for him. He didn't deserve that. He could have got a podium. The car was on. He was driving good and he could have got a podium. It's a shame. Really shame for Lando Norris. So lap 45, safety car. He got safety car, ended at lap 49. Ricciardo, Perez, both was battling. Ricciardo and Perez both pitted over the safety car. They both put the medium tyres on and they were both battling. At one time I thought Perez was going to catch Ricciardo, but he never. He never catch Ricciardo. Ricciardo, with all his experience, I know Perez got experience as well. If that was Bottas and Perez was chasing him and Bottas was in the Renault like Ricciardo was, Bottas he would have got caught. But because it's Ricciardo, class act, he kept his nerve. And look, either one of these two are both like, I like Perez. I think Ricciardo's alright as well. But I like Perez, and if Perez would have won, I would have been happy. But I'm happy for Ricciardo as well. So I'm split on this one, and that was it. Hamilton had got 3 fastest lap, but right at the end, he got the win. And he got the win, and Max comes second. Right at the end, Max tipped him for fastest lap, and 3rd place was Daniel Ricciardo. So we got that final podium that Ian had for years, a couple of years now. And he when I interviewed Daniel Ricciardo after that, he said it was like his first podium again. It's like it's his first podium because it's been so long. So now we're going to look at the standings, how it all finished. I'm going to bring this right on its side. And we're going to look at the standings and the results, how it finished. We had Lewis Hamilton on 1, Max Verstappen 2, Daniel Ricciardo 3, Sergio Perez 4, 5 place Carlos Sainz, 6 place Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc 7th place, brilliant. 7th place Charles Leclerc, 8th place Nico Hülkenberg, 9th place Roman Grosjean, 10th place Antonio Giovinazzi. I said it right this time, didn't I? Antonio Giovinazzi. I got it right. I always say Giovinazzi. I don't know why I say that, but I got it right. Antonio Giovinazzi. Yeah. So, Sebastian Vettel, 11th, 12th place, Kimi Raikkonen, 13th place, Kevin Magnussen, 14th place, Nicholas Latifi, 15th place, Daniel Fiat, Lando Norris out, Alexander Albon out, Esteban Ocon out, Bottas, 5 points, 6 points, 7 points, 10.0 out, and George Russell all out. Now let's have a look at the drivers' standings. We have Lewis Hamilton on top, 230 points. Lewis Hamilton on 70. Lewis Hamilton 230. Bottas second with 161. So I think he's 69 points now behind. 59 points actually. 59 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Game over. Max Verstappen third place, 147. And Daniel Ricciardo in fourth place, 78. Fifth place, Sergio Perez with 68. And sixth place, Lando Norris with 65. Seventh place, Alexander Albon with 64. And eighth place, Charles Leclerc with 63. So you got Charles Leclerc, right? He's in a Ferrari, and everybody knows the Ferrari's not doing that one now. But look at Charles Leclerc. He's only a point behind Albon. Albon is in a Red Bull. Charles Leclerc is in a bad works Ferrari. And then you've got the Ferrari guy, Charles Leclerc, 1 point behind Albon. That is a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Look. So you got Max Verstappen in third. And underneath you got Ricciardo, Perez, Lando Norris, all above Albon. Anyway, 9th place Lance Stroll, 57 points. 10th place Pierre Gasly, 53 points. 11th place Carlos Sainz. 12th place Esteban Ocon. 13th place Sebastian Vettel. 14th place Daniel Fiat. 15th place Nico Hülkenberg. 16th place Antonio Giovinazzi. I've said that already. There you go. 17th place Kimi Raikkonen. 18th place Roman Grosjean. And 19th place Kevin Magnussen. And 20th place Nicholas Latifi. And George Russell at the bottom with 21 points. Oh no, 21 points, 0 points. DHL fastest lap. Now we've got the teams first. Mercedes is basically won the construction. I don't want it ages ago, but I think they've won it now. And if they win the next race, they get a 1 and 2 in the next race. In 2 weeks' time, it's going to be the constructor titles for Mercedes. So we've got Mercedes on top, 391. Second place, Red Bull with 211. Third place is Racing Point, 120. Fourth place, McLaren with 116. Fifth place, Renault with 114. Sixth place, Ferrari, 80. Seventh place, AlphaTauri with 67. Eighth place, Alfa Romeo with 5 points. Ninth, Haas, Ferrari, third. And we've got Williams with no points at the bottom. So we've got DHL fastest lap goes to Max Verstappen. And we've got driver of the day is Nico Hülkenberg. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get the top three. The top three winners. The top three. We're going to have Max Verstappen. We're going to have Daniel Ricciardo first. And then we're going to have Max Verstappen and then Lewis Hamilton. It says Daniel Ricciardo, forget all about doing Shuey at Nürburgring, but he did actually. He actually done Shuey because he just put out on his Twitter feed. So, and then after that, we're going to have Max Verstappen and then Lewis Hamilton, the winner. So we're going to start off on Daniel Ricciardo. Put that there. Hopefully no advertisements.
Hey Daniel,
Hello.
You've still got your boots on, so you didn't fancy a shoey?
That's all right.
You can do it with the team photo maybe in a bit.
That's right. We'll try and get them all involved, but yeah, it's just it's a long time coming, I guess, and I think, to be honest, probably why I forgot it as well is it's been 2.5 years and it feels like the first one all over again. You know, that kind of shock, happiness, it's come back, being up there, and yeah, it's obviously with a new team, and to see the joy on their face. It's been a long time, and I'm sure the first time for a lot of the people in Renault to see a podium. So yeah, just lots of mixed feelings. Got caught up in it.
I mean, it's been coming though, hasn't it, in recent races? You've been so close. Even today, do you still think it might be out of reach, or do you fancy it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like a Hockenheim last year where, yeah, there's a chance of a podium with you can kind of, I don't want to say luck into it, but circumstances, can provide a shocked podium. I think, we've been persisting every race. We've been there top 4, top 5, and we put ourselves in the right position for, one of the top 3 cars to have a bit of misfortune, and obviously that was Valtteri today. So yeah, we've been there, and I think it feels good, to, as you say, to persist and get it, as opposed to lucking in's not the right word, but having one off. This was a long time coming, and we finally got it.
And finally, are you going to hold your boss to that tattoo bet?
Yes, yeah, it's going to happen. So yeah, gonna think of some designs. Try and I want. I want something. Obviously, Cyril, looks at and smiles at and has a good memory. So we'll see. I'll maybe get his opinion, but yeah, I'll do some thinking, do some brainstorming.
Well, I'm so happy for him, and he's deserved. There was actually people. There was talking about Red Bull, and a lot of people going to Red Bull to replace Albon, because Albon will be replaced. If you don't believe that, there must be something wrong up there. But anyway, Ricardo, the people talk about, maybe Paul di Resta said, the claim Paul di Resta, he said maybe Ricardo, they might have to try and get Ricardo back. If Ricardo goes to McLaren, I don't know if it's a year or 2 year deal. After that, it'll bring him up to about 33, and they should try and bring back Ricardo to Red Bull to go with Max Verstappen. I don't think they should have ever left Daniel Ricciardo. What they should have done is offer Daniel Ricciardo the same contract as Max Verstappen, and maybe he would have stayed. But the politics kicked in, they shut themselves in the foot. They thought, now we're going to get rid of him. We're going to get Pierre Gasly. Then after that, we're going to get Albon. They should have just kept Ricciardo. They were a good team. And at the end of the day, right, if they would have gave him a better contract, he would have stayed. And maybe they'll have to swallow their pride like they've done so many times. Just like he burnt his bridge. Never burn your bridges. That's an advice. Never burn your bridges, especially in a game like F1. You got Christian Horner. He's burnt his bridges. He burnt his bridges with Renault. He thought, yeah, I'm going to go for Honda. Honda's better. Where's Honda? 2 years later, off home. Gone. See you later. They're going home, taking the ball, heading home. No Honda. Now he'll have to go gravelling back. He'll have to gravel back and beg Reynolds for their engine back, and Cyril's loving it. Same with Ricciardo. He let Ricciardo go. He disrespected Ricciardo. Ricciardo left the ditch. Should have offered him the same contract as Max Verstappen. And now they're going to end up maybe, potentially trying to get Ricciardo back in the future. That's what I said. Never burn your bridges. Never, ever. Especially in this game. In life as well. But especially in this game. So, we're going to have Max Verstappen, second place. Happy with extra point for the fastest lap. Sure is.
Max kept pace with the Mercedes all day today. You must be pretty pleased with the performance of the Red Bull versus the Merc.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to stay close, but yeah, throughout the whole race, Lewis was just a little bit faster. But yeah, I tried to keep it as close as possible. But overall, the pace was not bad. I think compared to everyone behind us, it was a massive gap before the safety car already. And yeah, I think we maximized. Happy with that extra point with fast lap. That was an extra bonus. So yeah, good weekend, positive weekend, and happy with second.
How worried were you about the tyres at that safety car restart? We heard you on the radio saying that he was going pretty slow.
Yeah, the safety car was driving, of course, really slow to bunch up the field. But first of all, I don't think we needed a safety car. You could have done it with a virtual safety car, but I think they just wanted to make it more exciting again because of the gaps. But at a track here where it's so cold with the tires we have, you need to bring them up to temperature. It was quite dangerous out there. And the problem as well is that 3 or 4 cars are all the time behind the safety car. The others, they get the wave around, and they can warm up their tire because they're pushing. So it's also an unfair advantage for the guys behind us. But yeah, anyway, we'll talk about it and see what happens.
Great stuff. And just overall, do you have optimism for the final few races now, given the pace of you guys around here?
Yeah, I mean, we of course still need to improve, but I'm happy with second again here, and we just have to keep on pushing, try to make the car even better, and then see what happens.
Yeah, car's definitely improving by Red Bull. But still nowhere near Mercedes, not in my opinion. It's still got a lot of work to do. Another record what got broke today, which I'm going to get into in a minute. I'll talk about it now. Another record what was equal today in tennis, well, it's going to happen eventually. It was Rafael Nadal, because I'm a big tennis fan. I love tennis, been watching tennis since I was younger. I know the history, I love tennis. Just like I love racing. Rafael Nadal equaled Roger Federer's 20 Grand Slam record by winning today against Novak Djokovic, and that was amazing. Very impressive, because I love Nadal as well. Very impressive. And so that's Nadal on 20 Grand Slams and equal to Federer. And Novak is on 17. So Novak could still break the record. It could break break Nadal's record of 20 because he's equal to Federer. I don't think Federer is going to win anymore, but I'm just saying. I don't think he is, but the records have been broken. It was a record breaking today, record equaling day. So we've got Lewis Hamilton. He says so grateful to his team after the record equaling win at Eiffel Grand Prix, German Grand Prix.
Lewis, congratulations on a brilliant victory, bringing you level with the great Michael Schumacher. How does it feel?
It's really, really hard to explain at the moment. My mind's a bit blown, and I got a bit of a killer headache for some reason. It was such a hard race, super bumpy and physical, and so challenging mentally. And it's crazy. 91 wins. It doesn't get easier, that's for sure. If anything, it gets harder, I think, as you get older, as you face different challenges along the way. But I just feel honored to be here. I can't express how grateful I am to every single member of my team who's here, who's back at the factory, who continue to fight and believe in me and push. It's really incredible.
Great battle with your teammate Valtteri right at the start, and obviously unfortunate what happened to him. How did you explain what happened there, and also in the championship now, because it's looking pretty good for you?
Yeah, I honestly haven't thought about it too much, but the start was, I needed to get a good start, got a great start, and then we were so close to turn one, and he was in my blind spot, so I couldn't tell where he was, but I had to leave lots of space, and there he goes. He comes back super hard, and I was so impressed, really, really proud of him for how aggressive he was, and I was like, yeah, there's no other way it should be. So great driving from him. But then I was like, okay, so how can I create another opportunity? I've got to make these tires go further than him, and so I was trying to apply the pressure, but without killing my tires, and I managed to push him to a place where he ran out of front tire, and I was like, okay, this is my opportunity, and then he locked up, and it's kind of game over after that. But then I still had Max. I mean, they've picked up such pace, it's so hard to keep. It was a real challenge to keep ahead of them today.
Wasn't really a challenge, was it? Not at the end. Not at the end. Had it under control. And everybody knows Lewis Hamilton. He had that pace under control. He was always going to pressure Bottas, and when he passed Bottas, Max Verstappen didn't have a chance. Before that safety car come out, Hamilton was 10 seconds in front of... it should have been a virtual safety car, but before the full safety car come out, when Lando Norris broke down, right? When Lando Norris broke down, it was 10 seconds. He was 10 seconds in front of Max Verstappen. And after the safety car, he went from 0 seconds to 4-5 seconds. So he had the pace under control. And that's the end of my review. So, I'm going to find out. I want to know what's the next one. I thought it was Hockenheim. So, what's the next Grand Prix? The next Grand Prix is, if I can bring it up, the next one is in Portugal in 2 weeks time in Portugal. 2 weeks. Yeah, it's in 2 weeks time. There's gonna be no racing on the Friday. Usually when you have the practice 1 and 2 on the Friday, they're doing just one practice on Saturday and qualifying on Saturday. So you're gonna have one practice on the Saturday and the qualifying on the Saturday, and racing Sunday is gonna be 2 days. It's not gonna be a 3 days. I don't know why they're doing that. I don't get it, but the drivers like it that way. A lot of the drivers are saying we don't really need 2 practice. We don't need 3 practice sessions. So then they're gonna for that race in Portugal. It's a new circuit, and for that race they're gonna no Fridays, so they'll have that time to chill. And Saturdays they're gonna be practice in the morning, one practice, and then in the afternoon they're gonna have the qualifying session, and Sunday the race. So it's just gonna be a 2-day F1 weekend. And that's coming up in 2 weeks' time, and it's going to be 25th of October, and I'm looking forward to it. A new circuit, and it's going to be amazing what it looks like. There is what it looks like. See if I can get it up. There it is there. That's what the circuit looks like. Autodroma Internacional de Algarve. First Grand Prix. It's the first Grand Prix. Number of laps, 66 laps, and length 4.5 miles, and look, 1.5 kilometers, and 2020. It's the first Grand Prix there, so it's a new circuit, and it's going to be amazing, and I cannot wait to see the circuit. So this is Solo P1. I'm going to see you guys in 2 weeks' time. I'm going to be streaming 4 or 5. I'll stream more or less 4 days a week. I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't stream on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but Monday to Thursday I stream. So look out for my channel. All links are going to be below. Please like the video. Please subscribe. If you watch the video and you like the video, subscribe. It'll really help me out. And the links are going to be there for my Twitch channel as well. I will be making content through the next 2 weeks. It's not just going to be streaming. I'm going to be streaming. I'll be updating some videos. If you look at me, I've been doing classic cars. I've been racing classic cars on the sim on new tracks, and new tracks with new cars. No, new tracks with old cars. Like I've done one the other day with the Cobra from the Le Mans film. The Le Mans film, which is Ford versus Ferrari, that one. And the one, the Cobra car, Matt Damon was driving, Carroll Shelby's car. I was driving that round, the old school Goodwood. So look out for that. That's on my channel now. Look under the playlist. So I'll do stuff like that. So I'm going to be uploading and recording some stuff on my YouTube channel. I will be streaming 4 days a week, like I said. But this is me gone for 2 weeks' time for F1. No F1 for 2 weeks. And it's going to be like this now to the end of the season. So this is Solo P1 signing out. See you later, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.